Hi guys, you're gonna have to bear with me on this one for the wind. There's not a lot I can do about it, and the noise as well. I'm right by kind of two bits of the sea here. I'm on a rock that juts out and I'm getting it crashing both sides, and it's very windy, so it's going to be very noisy, this video. I'll try and keep my back to the wind slightly like this. It might improve it slightly, but I'm guarantee it's going to be pretty windy on the video. Now, the last video I did, I was at Durdle's door, and I said in that one I was going to be trying to photograph the Comet near-wise. I totally messed up. Basically, my app that I use to track it, Stellarium, I hadn't updated it for some time, maybe a few years, and there was a Comet on there called Neowise, but it was one from a few years ago, and I was tracking that, which was going to rise in east direction, which meant I could have lined it up with Durdle Door, but the one that I actually needed to track, the modern one, is actually rising in the north. I got out of the van probably about 2 o'clock this morning to start going down to the door, and I could just see the Comet already with my eyes kind of right behind the van, nowhere near the kind of east direction I needed. So I did get a few pictures just from beside the van, just because it's quite a cool thing to see and quite a cool thing to photograph. I do want to try and get an image before that Comet goes. I do want to try and get an image of it lining up against some nice foreground interest. I've just got to rethink. I've got to try and work out something I can shoot facing north to get it. I did rush to Portland Bill Lighthouse this morning, which is where I am now, as you can tell, because I think you could have probably lined up the Comet behind the lighthouse, but by the time I got here, unfortunately the cloud came back and you couldn't see the Comet anymore at all. So a bit annoying, but one of those things, still a cool thing to see. So yeah, it really didn't go to plan, what I was saying in that last video. Now, I've come to Dorset, I've come to Portland Bill. We do have some nice foreground interest here. I've come to this nice rocks here, and we've got the water breaking over it. And I am actually right next to the pulpit rock. So this is another famous image, which I have taken last year. A lot of people come to take this picture. I'm actually right on the rock now, looking at the big massive pulpit rock right behind you. But by coming out to this ledge, you can shoot down at the lighthouse. Slightly different angle, slightly different composition. It's something I didn't do last time. And you can get these nice foreground interests, these nice rocks. What I'm going to be doing today though, or what I'm going to be doing for the next half an hour to an hour, is I'm going to be trying to make something of this image, because at the moment it's very boring, it's very bland. There's no real colour in the sky. It's not even that nice soft pastel colours in the clouds at the moment. It's quite harsh and just not very appealing. But I'm going to be using some filters, and I'm going to be using some filters to really bring down that definition in that sky. I'm going to really try and bring it out and really make it as moody as I can. And I'm probably going to be converting these to black and whites, and it's just to show you that although looking now we have a very boring scene, we have a bit of colour coming through a gap in the clouds at the bottom, which you might not be able to see, but to me that's quite ugly because it breaks up kind of quite a nice soft pastel scene. Although, as I was saying, the clouds aren't really that nice and they're not really that pastel-y, but it gives that kind of harsh yellow band in the clouds, which just doesn't work. By going to black and white, I'm going to be able to remove that harsh colour, and I'm also going to be able to try and get more of a bit of a fine arty shot, probably doing a bit of a long exposure to try and smooth out this water. Lots of filters, lots of definition in the sky. I'm going to get the camera on now, get set up, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to shoot. Hopefully get some really nice dramatic, fine arty, moody shots in these, and hopefully get some good images. Right, now I spoke too soon actually. To be honest, I still don't think it's that picturesque. You have to tell me what you think of them. But we have actually started to get a bit of colour in the clouds now actually. I really didn't think it had happened, but it has. Bit more colour behind us than in the front, but I still prefer the look of this with the clouds and stuff like that. I'm actually not minding the image too much, to be honest. I like the foreground interest in it. I like these rocks down here in the water splashing over it. And yeah, I'm actually quite pleased how it's come out. Now I'm just going to do my standard panoramic sweep images going from right to left here. I've got the soft grad on, the 0.9 soft grad, and I've also got my 0.9 hard grad, and that's pulled all the way down to give me a weak ND. I do this all the time, really. I need to really get myself a kind of like a little stopper or like a weak ND filter to save me doing it, really, but it does work. It's always kind of done me well in the past. I'm shooting at f16 an ISO of 50, and that has given me a 2.5 second image at the moment, so it's varying between about 4 second and a 2.5 second image, depending on where you're pointing the camera. But yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with how that's come out. Hope they come out as well as they are when I got them on the computer as the back of the camera anyway, but yeah, not bad at all, really, not bad at all. I don't think I'm going to be able to rush around and use too much of the light. I honestly don't think it's going to last very long at all. I'm going to stick to my original plan of just trying to bring some mood down in the scene, and go from there, really. It's always a bit precarious around Portland, I found. I came here last year and I actually fell off one of the boulders over there. If for those of you that haven't been here, Portland stone is like a really famous stone. A lot of the buildings, or not a lot of them, but certain kind of buildings, like museums and stuff like that in London, are built from the stone. It resembles a bit like a marble, like a whitish kind of marble, not quite as marbly, I don't know how to explain it, but it's been used in a lot of buildings, like a light stone. And Portland was extensively quarried for a lot of it, and a lot of the places you come to photograph around Portland have a lot of these kind of quarries still left here. All around me now is just these boulders behind me, of these kind of big stones. And last time I was here, I was kind of scrambling around some of them trying to get to a few locations, and I literally just fell straight off one, landed on my knee, and I had a limp for about a week afterwards. So it's not my favourite place to walk around, to be honest, but I'm glad how this one's come out. But I might just go over there in a minute and see what I can make of it. But at the moment the light is quite nice here, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'll get these in the bag now, continue shooting these and put these up, and I'll probably catch up with you maybe at another location. Actually, I've already got some pictures in the bag earlier which I should be able to bring down in post to kind of show you what I meant by making these moody images. You'll be able to compare those from kind of the blue hourish just before the light kicked off to the ones with the colour in them, and then hopefully I'll be able to get set up in the next location and we'll be able to get some cool images pointing the other way. So I'll see you in a few minutes time.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high.
Right, so I've come around to the other side of the lighthouse now, and it's a totally different scene really. It's one that involves some more kind of smoother rocks rather than some harsh ones around the corner. A bit of green algae on them as well, and a bit more of the sea. It's more of a kind of scene looking out to the coast, looking out across to the kind of sea with a bit more negative space in it. Now we've had some really nice light from the sun actually really hitting the lighthouse now. So from the other side the lighthouse looked a bit plain and boring. I did prefer the clouds on that side, and I did prefer the foreground interest, but the lighthouse was a bit plain. This side we've got not as nice foreground, not as nice clouds, but we've got a really beautiful light on that lighthouse. It isn't looking white and red at the moment, it's looking more like a yellow golden colour. Really looking nice. The biggest problem with me shooting here, and I found this last time from this angle, is with my wide angle on, it really skews the lighthouse. To get the foreground right, the lighthouse ends up being kind of very leant over. A good tip if you get that is to shoot with lots of negative space in your image. Zoom out further, go wider than you normally would, and then when you go into Photoshop or Lightroom and you do kind of correction on it, you distort it, or you're going to bend the kind of lens in or do lens correction and stuff like that. Because you got extra negative space, you can bend the image back at the top or from the sides, and that extra negative space will allow you to kind of lose that area without actually having to cut and crop into the actual subject. So when I get that issue, I tend to shoot more wide angle rather than telly, and by the time I've corrected it, it normally takes up to a more of a telephoto shot, and something that I probably would have wanted anyway. So I'm going to have to do that a bit today. The way to get around it with wide angles is to try and shoot straight onto your subject. Don't point down or don't point up. The problem is when you come to places like this and you're a bit higher up than the foreground, you've got to shoot down to get that foreground interest. There's not a lot you can do about it really. Yeah, so a bit of a weird one, this one, because I did start off by saying that there's no colour in the sky. It's quite boring, and I was going to try and bring some mood down. Hopefully I'll manage to do that. I'm going to have to wait until I get these images on the computer, but I do like the images we got after that anyway. But yeah, like I say, hopefully I'll be able to do that, and you'll be able to look at the two images. Let me know which ones you prefer. Do you prefer the moody shots that I've had to probably do quite a lot of posts on to get them to the way I like? Or do you like the more natural shots that happen just after that with the light in the clouds and a bit of the red sky? Or to be honest, do you prefer the ones from around here with the light on the lighthouse and just just a bit more of a kind of golden hour shot? I'm going to leave it at that now. I have got tomorrow, and so I've got sunset and also I've got sunrise tomorrow to go through. I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet. I'm going to be trying to stay up in Dorset and not drive around so much. So not really sure where I'm going to end up over the next video or two. I will try and get that Comet to work properly with some foreground interest. But I'm going to have to sit down and do a bit of planning on that one, I think, and work out where I can go and shoot. Thanks for watching this one. Sorry it has been a similar location that I've done in the past, but hopefully it shows it off a bit different with some different light. I'll catch up with you on the next one coming up, and hopefully it'll be somewhere up in Dorset that I can find that's quite nice. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you on the next one.
No telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly.